Hello, Phoenix Union staff. As always, I want to start with thanking you for your ongoing commitment and dedication and trust during these very challenging times. Over the last couple of weeks, we have seen great unrest throughout our nation, a call and even a demand for change and equity and justice for all in our nation. At the same time, we are watching cases of COVID-19 raise at rapid rates in many states across our nation, especially here in Arizona. And so we are hyper aware and sensitive to the anxiety and stress that the current climate in our nation causes many of you, our respected and beloved employees. We are still in the process of planning for next school year. We have a lot of activity happening this summer. I do want to thank each and every one of you who is involved in our first ever all virtual summer school. We have hundreds of employees working, over 7,000 students taking classes this summer. We also have several hundred employees coming in and are working on curriculum writing and planning for next school year. And so for all of you just in general who are giving of your time this summer to help many of our students get caught up, but again, plan for next year, thank you so very much. We did very recently bring back all of our 12-month employees to return to work. We have adopted and drafted and published return to work policies and protocols. And in many ways, this is a test for what launch of school will look like and feel like in just a couple of months. And today I want to highlight some of those return to work practices and procedures that we have in place now and ones that we will strengthen and even modify if need be as we prepare for the ultimate launch of school next year. One of the first things that you will notice when you return to work to a campus or any one of our facilities is you will see a change to most of our entries. It's a way for us to control and protect who is able to come on to our campuses. Again, want to reduce and protect any spread of a virus on our campuses. You will see screens, glass screens, and protectors to make sure that our front office staff and many of those on the front line are protected as well. You'll also take a health survey before you come onto the facility to make sure that you have not been exposed, you are not experiencing a fever or any symptoms. Again, this is for your protection and the protection of others. You will see a dramatic increase in hand sanitizing stations near every door and elevator and bathroom and common space, again, to make sure that you are able to keep your hands clean throughout the day. We have gloves available if you are going to touch materials, going to share materials, whether that's with a colleague or with a visitor. We make sure that gloves are available to, again, protect you and those that you are doing business with or working with. We also have individuals that have been hired and are coming in with more hours to disinfect. We are disinfecting common areas, bathrooms, doorknobs, tables, chairs, counters. Again, constant disinfecting through a new sanitizing protocol that we have in place. Our employees also and our visitors are required to wear masks. You must wear masks when you arrive to any one of our campuses, must wear masks at all times when you are in public spaces, common spaces, and when you are near anyone else. If you are within a few feet, the social distancing, you are required to wear a mask. We also are promoting social distancing, requiring social distancing. When you show up and do business in a front office, you'll see floor markers and signs everywhere, making sure that we do not have people congregating in spaces. We also even have elevator protocols, no more than 2 people per elevator or a stairwell. Again, doing all that we can to protect you when you are on campus. So ultimately, we not only protect you, but your family and your loved ones when you leave one of our facilities. We continue to plan and develop 4 school models for next school year. You have heard us talk about that. We've surveyed you about our school models: an in-person model with smaller class sizes, socially distanced classrooms, safe transition periods. We also have a virtual option, an all virtual option that we are developing through PXU Digital and even some virtual options at campuses. There's also a hybrid option that there may be students and families that need part in-person, part virtual. There could be some staff members that need part in-person and part virtual. And so we continue to work on that hybrid model. And of course, as you have heard us talk about, we will have an evening school option, an in-person evening school option for our students that must work or take care of a sibling during the day, and even for some of our staff members that must stay home during the day to take care of a loved one and are only available to work at night. I want to thank our teams for continuing to work really hard to make all four of those models safe, but also effective and successful for both our staff and our students. Specifically, in order to make sure that we are ready for the launch of school year, again, both safe and successful, Phoenix Union has launched 9 task forces that have been working throughout the entire month of June and will continue to work for the rest of this month and, if needed, into July. And these 9 task forces are designed to make sure that we have asked every question and answered every question as we prepare for the launch of next year. And I want to highlight what those task forces are and just give you a couple of examples of the types of work and questions and solutions that we are working on. Our first task force is our Enrollment and Registration Task Force, looking at incoming freshmen as well as new students, but also current students and making sure that they are registered for the right classes. We also have an extracurricular task force looking at all clubs and sports to make sure that if we are able to offer sports, they are safe. How can we offer clubs in person or virtual? We have a logistics task force that's looking at everything from personal protective equipment to class size. If we are going to have an in-person model, how many students can we fit into a class? We've been in classrooms and measured and are having classroom layouts, again, to make sure that when we come back to school, we are completely ready to keep all of our staff and our students healthy. We have a social and emotional and family task force, making sure that we are meeting the social emotional needs of our students and our staff, and also meeting the needs of our families during this time of great crisis. We have a teaching and learning task force that is ensuring that all of our programs, our academic programs, our curriculum, whether that's virtual or in person or a hybrid, is effective and rigorous to meet the ongoing academic needs of our students, to continue to close the achievement gap that exists here in our district and across our country. We have a talent support task force that's looking at how do we help our staff members. We have many staff members in crisis. We have staff members that have been exposed, some that have contracted COVID-19. And so we have a task force that is ensuring that we are meeting the needs of our employees as well. We have a transportation task force, making sure that we can get students to and from school, but socially distanced and safe. We have a staff and student placement task force that's looking very specifically at how do we place students in which of the 4 models? How do we place staff in those 4 models? What's the difference between a teacher placement and a social worker placement and a food service placement? And how do we make sure that we are honoring the needs and requests of our employees, yet at the same time meeting the needs and demands of our students and our families? And finally, the last task force is our transitions task force, that we want to make sure that we have safe arrivals, safe dismissals. We want to make sure that breakfast and lunch is safe, whether that's smaller group in classroom, socially distanced breakfast and lunches, but also passing periods. And so this transitions task force is just making sure that we are thinking about all of the time that kids and staff are on campus when they're not actually in classrooms. And I want to thank all of those involved in these task forces. These aren't just run by administration. In fact, these are task forces that include CEA, CTA, ADA, district office, to make sure that as we're making these final decisions and making these plans, that we have considered the voices and needs of all of our employees, not some, but all. As we plan for the launch of school year, one other item that continues to be brought up is our school resource officer program. Many of you have reached out to us to ask if we have a timeline on any decision on school resource officers for the 2021 school year. Many of you may have seen that there have been calls for Phoenix Union, as well as school districts around our nation, to immediately cancel any contracts or intergovernmental agreements with local law enforcement. We've seen school systems like Portland, Seattle, Denver, Minneapolis that immediately decided to cancel all contracts with local law enforcement. Phoenix Union has decided to not overreact or underreact during these very challenging and harmful and emotional times in our country, we've decided to give ourselves 5 to 6 weeks to listen and learn about what our community needs for the launch of school year when it comes to school safety and school resource officers. We did not vote on our annual IGA earlier this month, as we usually do. We will very likely bring back to the governing board a new safety plan later in the month of July, whether that includes school resource officers or not. We encourage you to get involved. We encourage you to reach out to your supervisor, to your association rep, to your association presidents if you have strong opinions about what school safety should look like in the future, about the role of SROs, or maybe there's not a role for SROs in Phoenix Union. We want to hear from you. Your voice matters. Please make sure that you are engaged, that you look for opportunities to voice your opinion with us. Again, we've given ourselves till the end of July to make a decision about the future of safety and school resource officers in Phoenix Union. 3 months ago, as we began school closures, we promised you that we would always keep your safety, your health, and your wellness at the forefront of all decision making. And we also said that we would not and will not abandon our students and our families during these extremely challenging times. And so as we build the right models for next school year, we will keep those two things at the center of our decision making. We'll continue to reach out to you, survey you. You may receive phone calls from us trying to find out your preference for next school year. We're committed to doing the same to our students and our families, to build models as best as possible that work for our staff, our students, and our parents. We are here to serve you. We're here to help you. We're here to love you. We're here to provide for you. If there's anything that we can do for you, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. We have a new link on our website, phoenixunion.org/return to work. We have many details about processes, procedures, and protocols for returning. And ultimately, if you have any question that you cannot get answered by going to our website, please do not hesitate to reach out to us. The simplest way is to email talent@phoenixunion.org. Of course, you can email your direct supervisor, your association rep, your association presidents, but talent@phoenixunion.org. We are happy to answer questions about return to work and the models that we are developing for you and for our staff and our families. Thank you so much for taking time to watch this video address, and I hope, when possible, I get to see you around our campuses and our community soon.